Part of leadership series, I will be talking on self the secret formula for trust. So as you see that trust is equal to reliability plus likability. So first I will be going through reliability and then after that I will go through likability. So let's start talking about what is reliability. If we go back to the trust equation where trust is equal to reliability plus likability, our focus on this video is on the reliability portion of the trust formula. And reliability is the ability and dependability of the team member to accomplish a task according to predefined objectives. And what that means is simply, are you able to do the job that you have been given to do? And reliability is based on the assessment of performance and competency of a team member, and it is referred to as the cognitive trust component and as a function of person's ability and integrity. So how do you increase reliability? You can increase reliability among your team members by following four main tactics, which we will be talking about in a second. And you want to use those tactics with your team and encourage your team member to use them among each other. And as mentioned earlier, your objective is to increase and sustain trust throughout your project. So use those tactics regularly and not just once at the beginning of it. So what are the four tactics for increasing reliability? The trust is to verify skills. The second is to be explicit. Third is to lead by example, and the fourth is to count on others. So the first is to verify skills. Now the main root cause of lack of reliability among virtual teams is a lack of proper team skill, and the skills are made up of two components. You have got technical skills and collaboration skill. Technical skills are skills needed to do the job itself. So if you are actually building product lines online or you are building some of sort of software, those are the software development skills or the engineering skills that you need to get the job done. And the collaboration skills are the skills needed to interact and communicate in a virtual setting, such as technology, communication skill, where you need to use project management software or meeting software, or even the soft skills you use in the communication through email and any sort of language barriers. And you should verify all skills of your team members before they start their tasks. So we are talking about both the technical and the collaboration skill. Those definitely need to be verified before you can go ahead and start your project. And you want to ask questions as do they all know how to do their jobs, or does everyone have the right level of the training to be able to conduct their job efficiently? And even though this is a common sense, a lot of time the lack of trust within a team is because no one verified or took the time to verify that team member all have the proper technical skill as well as the collaboration skill to be able to do their own job tasks. The second tactics is to be explicit, and you want to be explicit as you can with with the expectations and requests when communicating with your team member. And we have talked about that a lot in previous videos. You cannot rely on someone to do a task if they are not 100% clear on what they have to do. So you want to say exactly that what you want to and what you want to, and do not have requests open to interpretation or even assumptions. And then finally keep communicating throughout the task time frames to make sure there are no misunderstandings there. And this goes back to the whole mega community philosophy, communicate philosophy where you need to keep those touch points going on every day or even every other day to make sure that there are nothing misunderstood. The third tactic is to lead by example. You want to demonstrate your leadership by setting an example of how reliable you are to your own virtual team. And now, not a lot of people know that this, but your team looks up to your own behavior as the standard reference point of how they should behave. So it is if it is not reliable with your own commitments, you implicitly give your team permission to behave accordingly. So lead by example. When you say you will do something, just do it. It is as simple as that. The fourth tactics is to count on others. Now this might sound counterintuitive, but counting on others to do their job will increase their level of reliability. Research shows that a propensity to believe others can be counted on to what they say they will do is an important precursor to the development of trust. So show your team members that you have trusting them and they will be more trustworthy. And again, I know this sounds a little bit counterintuitive, but it actually works when you believe that they are actually going to do the job that they have given to do. Now, before we in this video, it is important final word about reliability that you should know. Keep in mind that no matter how much you try increasing the level of reliability among your team, there are certain people who are just poor performers, and those poor performance will affect the entire team by free riding and creating a negative atmosphere of distrust. Now, you can try addressing poor performance issues by having honest conversation about their conduct. However, understand that there is only so much you can do, and sometimes letting team members go in the best solution for you and the team. So, what are the summary of actions for this video to increase the level of reliability among your team? Use the following four tactics. First to verify skills. The second is to be explicit. The third is to lead by example, and the fourth is to count on others. And that's it. Thank you. Now I will be talking on this how to increase likability among your team. So what is likability? And again, going back to the trust question, where trust is equal to reliability plus likability, the focus on this video is on likability portion of that formula. So likability is the forming of emotional ties between members of the team. It is the result of social bonds developed in a reciprocal relationship between the two people, and likability is referred to as effective trust component and is based on assessment of benevolence. So, how do you increase likability? Likability in a virtual team can be increased similar to how it is increased in co-located teams, but it takes a little bit more effort and time to accomplish that. You can increase likability among your team by following five main tactics. Use those tactics with your team and encourage your team members to use them among each other. And again, your objective is to increase and sustain trust throughout the project. So use those tactics regularly and not just once at the beginning. So what are those five tactics for increasing likability? The first is to get personal. The second is to encourage social interaction. The third is to over communicate. The fourth is to meet face to face, and the fifth and the final one is to be positive. So let's start with the first one to get personal. Now, virtual teams can sometimes feel very transactional and dry. Everyone is usually focused on completing tasks and getting their job done and not spending time on any informal conversations. However, getting to know your team members on a personal level is one of the fastest way to increase likability. So learn about things such as team members' families, their vacation plans, their hobbies, through informal discussions that you may have on the side, and you want to lead by example. Start sharing a personal stuff about yourself, and your team will feel more at ease about opening up to you. So, in my case, I usually share some pictures about my family members or my vacation or my hobbies, and that usually helps in people's reciprocating and setting me through things about their own personal life. So now it's okay to ask high level personal questions, but be careful about getting too intrusive. I mean, for example, you can ask whether someone is doing something fun over the weekend, but obviously you do not want to ask too many detailed questions where you are getting too personal, and sometimes that might actually be against company's policy. The second tactics is to encourage social interactions. Now, one major drawback of virtual teams is that they lack the water cooler effect, and the water cooler effect is where employees in physical office in chat about life or sports or what have you, and encouraging social interactions will help you to create virtual water cooler to increase team likability and cohesion. Now, to accomplish this, you can start or end conversation that are unrelated to work, and you can use the power of small gives where it is sharing articles, videos, or events that you think your team member might be interested in, and that usually helps a lot to in creating that virtual water cooler effect, where you interact socially with your different team members in a virtual setting, and also schedule separate meetings or portions of the meeting dedicated to team building or team bonding exercise. Now, a lot of co-located teams, offline teams, actually, they do put that effort into team building or team bonding exercise. So it just makes sense to actually do it in a virtual setting. And there are a lot of different types of games and exercise that you can implement with your team that helps build that sort of relationships. The third tactics is to over communicate, and this is similar to whole mega communicate concept, the propinquity effect, where which was theorized by psychologists at MIT, states that the more you interact with someone, the more you are like them and become friends with them. And repeat exposure through our communication among your teams will eventually lead to an increase in liking. So stay in touch at least once every day or once every day with your team members, even if it is not absolutely essential. And again, this goes back to the whole mega communication concept. The fourth tactic is to meet face to face. Meeting with your team members face to face at least once, especially right after a project starts, is a single best thing that you can do to increase liking among your team. Now, face to face meeting helps with establishing rapport, understanding mannerism, and reducing miscommunication. And understandability brings a team together in one room could be a large expense. However, it is worth down the line, particularly in the long-term projects. And if meeting face to face is not possible due to budgetary or other constraints, use video conferencing or as a secondary option. The fifth tactic is to be very positive. Now, no one enjoys hanging around individuals who are constantly negative and pessimistic, even though it is quite natural to go through some high stress times while working in a virtual team. How to react during those times is going to affect the team's environment and how you are perceived as a leader as well. So having a constant positive attitude and encouraging others to do the same will increase the level of likability among the team members. So, what are the summary of actions for this video to increase the level of likability among the teams? Use the following five tactics. The first one to get personal. The second one to encourage social interactions. The third one is to over communicate. The fourth one is to meet face to face. And the fifth and final one is to be positive. And that's it.